Welcome back to Edge Work, presented by FanDuel as part of the Hammer Betting Network. I am Alex Moretto, joined here today by So Money Sports to break down a 10-game card on the ice in the NHL. So Money, I tweeted it earlier. Playoffs are right around the corner. It really does start to feel like spring when we get into the last week or so of the regular season. I said it really would have felt like spring if it wasn't minus 17 and snowing right now outside my window. Absolutely miserable. This winter continues, but doesn't change the fact that we are into the final 7-8 days of the regular season here, and the playoffs are a little over a week away. I'm very excited, very, very excited to get into the playoffs. I think this is a really competitive and wide open field. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it also feels different when your team is in it for the first time in a while, right? So I feel
Yes.
Almost in it. I'm not gonna say that yet, but when your team is almost in it or pushing to drive through, and I know that feeling, and it's a different kind of excitement. And I went through it last year, and I hope that if I'm not gonna win any money on my Columbus to make the playoffs, I hope that you get to experience that.
Yeah, I mean, two things. One, don't worry about jinxing it. We can say it. They're pretty much in the playoffs, because you know what? If they collapse right now, they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. That's it. I don't like jinxes. I'm very superstitious, but at this point, if they blow this, then God help them. I don't want to see them in the playoffs, because if they're capable of blowing a cushion like this, then I can't imagine what would have happened in round one. So that's fine. The other thing is you experienced it very differently last year, because I'm going into it with the Habs playing with some house money. No expectations. You went into it where your team had a legitimate chance to win the cup potentially last year. So it's, a little bit different, probably even more exciting. This was not, I don't want to, resurface old wounds, but I'm trying to compliment you in a way here by saying Vancouver was a lot better last year than the Habs are this year. That's all.
No, I get it. It's just there's a lot of pain and trauma from years of being a Canucks fan. So I appreciate it, but yeah, let's keep it going here.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, I do want to get into the games very quickly here, because there's a lot of games. I don't want to miss any plays. Don't know how the market's going to react this morning or how the market's going to move. There's a lot of stuff to get to, so I want to get into that quickly. We'll quickly recap the best bets from last night. 3-1 night on the ice. We win with the Lightning money line, the Seattle LA under, and the Flames Sharks under. We do not get the Oilers Ducks over home. Not even getting a push there felt a little bit harsh, but it is what it is. We will take it. A 3-1 night to start the week. The no-goal parlay does not cash. The throw-in third leg, Matty Beniers scored a goal in LA to sewer that one when JT Miller and I can pull it up here quickly. It takes 2 seconds. JT Miller and the other guy, Robert Thomas, did not score. JT Miller and Robert Thomas did not score. And then Matty Beniers goes and just kills it. So it is what it is. All right, let's talk about FanDuel for a second, and then we will get into the games, because there's a new offer today. Puckheads, the NHL playoffs are right around the corner, and FanDuel is bringing you the best bets on the ice. Get in the lab when you make your same-game parlay by checking out FanDuel's player performance pages that track stats and averages all your favorite players. Once you know who's cooking, add shots on goal, points, assists, or even goalie saves to your SGP. Miss puck drop, you can still tap in with live same-game parlay and period-specific player props. Right now, new customers can kick off the season with $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's right, $250. Just place any $5 bet, and you will get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download FanDuel Sportsbook and make every moment more. Please play responsibly. Must be 21 plus for President select states, or 18 plus in President DC, or 19 plus in physically located in Ontario. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable. Bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-866-531-2600 or visit connexontario.ca. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. All right, let's get right into the games, and we will start in La Belle Provence, where the Montreal Canadiens are minus 126 on FanDuel at home to the Detroit Red Wings. A huge game for both of these teams. The Wings, I would say, probably the best of the teams at this point, at least playing the best of the teams chasing Montreal right now. Columbus seems pretty dead. The Rangers seem pretty dead. All those teams seem pretty dead. The Wings are the one team that still looks like they are playing with some purpose. They're the one team that scares me a little bit. They can go into Montreal tonight and make things a little bit uncomfortable for the Habs with a regulation win. Habs really just need a point here to kind of put a stranglehold on things. But Detroit definitely has a chance to make things a little bit interesting down the stretch. Plus 105 tonight at the Bell Center on FanDuel right now. Total of 5.5, minus 130 to the over, plus 106 to the under. I do have a lot of bets tonight. This is one of the games where I actually don't have anything in right now. I don't know about you.
I actually do. So I like the way that Detroit has been playing. Obviously, I like the way that Montreal has been playing as well. But we're strictly looking at the number here, right? So I think that we're getting a little bit high on Montreal. Now, this is not to say that I don't expect them to make the playoffs or I think they're going to collapse or anything like that. I don't think any of that. I think in this one singular event, Montreal is being priced out longer than they should be. So I did bet Detroit. I like them pretty much anything plus money, but I've got them up to plus 103 or down to plus 103. So I do. Yeah, it's just about pricing at this point. I think that the way that Detroit's playing, I think there's still some drama left in this race here. Unfortunately for you, Alex, but
Always,
yeah, I do.
Always is. Can never
Yeah,
be
I
easy.
do. And I do like Detroit here. I like the way that they're playing, and I think they're going to go into Montreal, and I think it's going to be a big win here for the Wings.
Yeah, it would be a big win for sure. It would definitely make things a little bit uncomfortable for the Habs. It would pull them to, I think, within 6 points, I believe, with, a few games to go. Detroit does have it would pull them within 4 points, sorry, with 5 games to go. But the Wings do have a very tough schedule. So, they win here. After this, they go at Florida, at Tampa, home to Dallas, at the Devils, at the Leafs. That is a murderer's row for them. But they have been playing well. They did just come off big wins against Carolina and Florida. They got a point at St. Louis, one of the hottest teams in the NHL before the loss last night. So they are playing well. I do agree. I did anticipate getting on the Wings here tonight. I just was hoping for a little bit of a bigger number. I thought we were going to get a little bit of a bigger number, just a little bit of inflation on the Habs, the way, things have been going. We didn't quite get as much of an inflated price as I thought. So ultimately, I will sit this one out. And sorry, I mean, if you're going to win your bet, I hope it's at least in a shootout or overtime or something like that for the Habs can get a point here. I think we can pre-agree to have that be the case here. But yeah, look, the Habs have not been playing great. They're kind of finding ways to win a lot of point flip games, sort of. They did have dominant wins over the Bruins and Flyers over the weekend, and then they did, grit out a big 2 points at a tough spot against the Preds. But before that, they hadn't been playing necessarily great. Maybe a little bit lucky to win those Panthers games for sure. Bell Center is going to be electric tonight, though. I will say that it's going to be very, very loud in that building, and all the pressure right now is on the Wings because the season is basically over for them if they lose this game. So it does feel like a big spot. I would expect them to come out flying here with their season kind of on the line. So it should be a fun one. I will set it up, but we will go ahead and track the Wings for you there as our first bet of the night, which bodes well because I have a bet in a lot of other games. So I think we're going to really be firing today. We will go from that into the Leafs and the Panthers, another big game here in the Atlantic Division. The Leafs minus 104, Florida minus 115, a total of 5.5, minus 110 to the over, minus 110 to the under. This was an interesting one because if you had been following Maurice's comments, you kind of could have read the tea leaves and figured out who was going to be playing tonight based on his comments yesterday. It did sound like it was pretty likely that Barkov was going to be playing. It did sound like he did say that Bennett was unlikely to play. I think Reinhart was a little bit more of a question mark, but it sounded honestly like Reinhart didn't actually have anything wrong with him. It was basically actually just rest for Reinhart. But yeah, news comes out this morning that Barkov's at skate, Forsling's at the skate, Bennett's at the skate. All these guys were at the skate, Kulikov, Reinhart, whatever. Then, they show the lines and Bennett and Kulikov are not actually in the lineup. They were just there as extras, but Barkov's going to make his return tonight. Reinhart going to make his return tonight and Forsling going to make his return tonight. Naturally, Florida has taken a ton of money since then. The Leafs were favored earlier, and now this is kind of flipped. Are you part of this Florida money? You think there's still room to go here on the Panthers? Are you getting involved on side or total here?
Yeah, I'm on Florida. I bet them earlier. There's another wave coming in right now. If there's no disagreement from you, I think we should go ahead and lock that in.
No, there's no disagreement.
Okay,
I didn't
let's
bet it personally, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's more money coming in there. So yeah, I did bet Florida earlier. I think we're getting to the point now where I don't want to bet them anymore. They're up to minus 120, minus 125. That's where I have the cutoff. And
minus 130 over minus 130 offshore right now too.
Yeah. So we got to get in there. But yeah, I think that the guys coming back gives the Panthers a push. I was on the Leafs against the Panthers last week.
Yeah, that was a big one for me once the Barkov just dropped.
Yeah, right. So I think that the issue here was how seriously the Panthers are taking this game. I don't think they care about where they finish. I don't think they're trying to lose, or I don't believe in any of that stuff. But I just don't think that it was a question of whether they care enough in terms of where they finish in the standings. But I think that the bigger issue for the Panthers now is that they need to turn their game around, right? And wherever they finish, I think that this is a veteran enough team that's well coached enough to understand that you can't just turn it on, right? Like with a game or two left, or like you're in the playoffs now, so now we're going to start playing better. You need some momentum going into the playoffs. You need like a good 4, 5, 6 games where you're feeling good about your game, you're getting into the playoffs. I think that this is a team that does understand that. Whether or not they win or lose, I don't know. But what I do know is that with these guys coming back today, with the kind of gamesmanship from Maurice yesterday, and the way that I feel that this team is kind of the comments coming out of their camp, I do think they'll take this game seriously. So the pricing was there. They got their guys back. If I think that they take this game seriously, we need to bet on that.
Yeah, as long as there's no disagreement from you as well, I would like to go ahead and lock in an under here as well before this. Yeah. This is starting to take in a little bit of money now as well. So we'll go ahead and lock in that under 5.5 as well. That is the side I am on in this game. I bet a little Florida just because once I saw this morning skate news, I knew that the line was going to run. So just naturally, I was like, all right, I'll get on it and I can do something with it later if I want to. But that's not really like a strong play for myself. I do really like this under, though. I'm going to keep betting these unders. These Florida unders are just we're going to ride these into retirement if they'll let us. I don't know why this isn't juiced a lot heavier towards the under right now. Getting Barkov back is significant for the matchup game. They can now put that Barkov line out against the Matthews line. That they can put the Lundell and that line out there against the Tavares line. All of a sudden, Florida has the matchup they want again. We've seen them really be able to suffocate this Leafs team, really limit what the Leafs can do. Defensively, Leafs playing really well. Goaltending has been outstanding. They're getting like a 960 save percentage in the last 10 games or something like that at 5-5, which is unbelievable. That's going to come down, obviously, but right now, their goalies are hot. They're feeling it. Florida's really struggling to score. We've seen these teams and how well they kind of match, how tightly they match up with one another so many times before. This needs to be juiced a lot heavier towards the under at a 5.5. It's just the way it is. It is not yet. I think it's going to continue to run. I am on an under here, and that is my first bet of the night here. Assuming you're good with that as well.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so we will lock in the Panthers and the under here in this game. 3 bets in 2 games as we move on to another game that I do have a bet in as well. The Devils and the Bruins. Devils minus 260, Bruins plus 210. Total of 5.5. Plus 100 to the over, minus 122 to the under. Not usually something I love to do, but I will pay some juice for this under 5.5. I like the under here. Bruins scored some goals all of a sudden again this weekend, but nothing has changed there. Like the Canes game, I don't know what happened there, but that was very much the outlier in a decent subset of data now since the deadline where we know what this Bruins team is. The Sabres game, they didn't generate anything more than they have been at 5-on-5. They were just fortunate to kind of get a couple goals there. Devils have been playing their games in mud, though, and that is where the Bruins have been living for a while. Neither of these offenses have much going for them right now. This has 3-1 written all over it. My only concern is the Bruins are a little bit of a mess defensively right now. They seem to be giving up a ton, but Swayman seems to be finding his game as the season winds to a close. A little bit late for for him, but at least he's, showing some signs of life here. And the Devils hardly seem equipped to take advantage regardless. So yeah, I know it's juiced a little bit to the under already, kind of open in this area. I'm good with this 5.5 up to -120, which is widely available across the board right now. How about yourself?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that it's my concern would be that the Bruins goals this year have come in bunches. So if they are starting to turn it around, I think that would be a little bit of a concern, and it's not like they've been playing well defensively either. So that would be my only concern on the on the on the total on the under, and I don't like the juice on it either. So I will sit it out, but I'm not sitting it out because I disagree. I'm sitting it out because it's just the juice is out of range here for me right now.
Yeah, totally fair. Do you have anything yourself in this game, or I'm assuming you don't have anything on the side here, so just a pass for you altogether?
Yeah. I'll be passing this game.
Okay, we don't have to spend any more time on that one. We will move on to the Hurricanes and the Sabres. Canes -210 in a little bit of a rough patch right now. Sabres +172, a total of 6.5, +104 to the over, -128 to the under. I have another bet in this game myself, but I will give you the floor first. Do you have anything in this one?
Yeah, so the Canes, I haven't been impressed with their play lately, and they take money again as they usually do. Another game that I'm going to sit out. I think that the total, you could make a case for the under there, but I think it's right where it needs to be. So this is another game that I'll be sitting out here.
I will make the case for the under. There's 6.5, -115 to -120 available. I'm fine with -120. I'm fine with obviously with -115 if I'm fine with -120. I do like this under though, especially now that it's run a little bit. Honestly, this is one of my favorite totals on the board tonight. I think there's some hidden value here. Like, it's just too high. I think we're overreacting way too much to a bad 2-game sample for the Canes. I'm not sure what happened in that back-to-back against the Bruins and the Wings this weekend. I have no idea. That was very uncharacteristic of this Carolina team, but that's not changing my viewpoint on them. I'm definitely not going to be overreacting to it. I would very much expect a response from them, especially on the back end here. I'd look for them to put an emphasis on cleaning things up defensively. Just before those 2 games, they were basically impenetrable on the back end. Now we're, lining their games at 6.5 all of a sudden. I cannot get on board with that. And the Sabres, I understand that they've been scoring a ton of goals, but like their offense does not scare me. Outside of the games against Pittsburgh and Boston, they have generated nothing at 5-on-5. In fact, their offensive numbers are a little bit down in terms of chance creation over the last few weeks. I've talked about their insane shooting percentage, but I need to talk about it again because it's absolutely wild that in their last 8 games, they have scored 41 goals. They are shooting 19% at all strengths. The next best team over that span is the Leafs at 15%. 19% over an 8-game sample is wild. The fact that they've been able to keep that up is crazy. It is not going to keep up. It's going to plummet, and that is just kind of a long-winded way of saying nothing has fundamentally changed with the Sabres. It's not like something is just clicked for them or a switch flip. It is just very much variance. Water always finds its level. I like that to start tonight against what should be a defensively focused Canes team because we know they are very capable of shutting it down when they need to. And yeah, I think that, given what's happened to them over the weekend, they will definitely put an emphasis on that. And this should be a tighter game. I do not think this should be at 6.5. So I think maybe regression could even hit in a big way. I'll probably be betting some Sabres alt team total unders. Maybe even a shutout here for Carolina, and watch Buffalo score 6 goals on 18 shots again. But it is what it is. So we'll go ahead and track that under here as well. We will move on to the next game of the night. We have the Blackhawks and the Penguins. Blackhawks +172 in Pittsburgh. Penguins -210, total of 6.5, -104 to the over, -118 to the under. Do you have anything for us in this one?
Yeah. So again, just based on the pricing here, I played small on the Blackhawks. I think half a unit there. It's just we know who these teams are, and Pittsburgh, they have been hanging in there. But I do like the way that Chicago has been playing recently. I think that they've been trying to play the game properly. They're a bunch of young kids trying to figure it out, right? So you're going to have ups and downs there. But I think that in this situation, that the price on the Penguins is just too high right now. So I did play Blackhawks for small, so like we can lock it in for half a unit, I think. But just based on the pricing here, there's nothing more, except I think that the Penguins are too inflated at this point in the season.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I did bet an over in this game, but it's kind of run a little bit now, and I don't really love the idea of giving it out at 6.5 minus 105. I liked it when there was 6 minus 120 or plus money 6.5 available, so it is kind of a little bit past where I'd want to bet it at this point. So I think ultimately I won't force it here, and won't try and force another play where we have plenty going already tonight, especially in a game where, like, realistically, like, two teams that are just going through the motions right now. Like, neither team has anything to play for. You never know fully what you're going to get. So I do want to tread a little bit lightly and be more price sensitive at this point. I do like the over, though. Like, this is the second game of a home and home. Hawks won 3-1 in Chicago on Sunday. Knight was unbelievable in that game. It was a much higher event game than the score suggested. He saved almost 3 goals above expected. So I think this could be a Soderblom start if they continue their kind of recent pattern of 3 for Knight, 1 for Soderblom. Even if it's not, though, like, Knight has been pretty erratic. He steals them games, and then he can't make a save the next night. So, like, he's not necessarily scaring me off here. And the Hawks have just been a mess defensively. I think they'll be able to generate enough against the Pens team that is also a mess defensively. So I do think there's potential for a lot of goals in this one, but market has agreed and done so pretty early here, so we weren't able to actually get a decent number on show. But if this does come back at any point, we can get plus money 6, or if you shop around and you see any, I do see a little bit that's available. Maybe if you have some off-market books or something like that, that is where I would bet this one myself. But we won't track anything for now. We really are firing today, eh? And now we haven't even get into your game of the night, where your two favorite teams are facing off here: the Sens and the Blue Jackets in Columbus. Sens minus 120, Columbus plus 100. Over 6.5 is plus 110. Under 6.5 on FanDuel minus 134. How do you bet this game with your two favorite teams? Do you bet a draw? Like, do you bet the team total over for both? I don't know. What are you doing with this one?
So in this case, I did bet Columbus.
Okay.
I do obviously like Ottawa a lot long term and heading into the playoffs. I know that a few of our guys don't want to hear that, but I really like this Ottawa team. Like them all year. I like how they've come together into the identity that Travis Green wanted for them. And Charles's comment there. But yeah, I like this Sens team a lot. But I expect a Columbus team that this is their season right now, right? They've hit a wall. It's unfortunate that that this happened, and it started defensively. They just let down defensively, and that's when it started struggling for them. So I think that I do expect a Columbus team that's going to come out with a much better effort. Ottawa, I think that they're more concerned about their game, and I think that not personally knowing Travis Green, but again, I did play for him for a bit, but knowing Travis Green, I think that his message in that locker room is just that we just need to play our game going into the playoffs, and that's all that matters for them. I don't think they're concerned about who they play or anything like that, but I think in this situation, they are a little bit inflated on the road. And if we do expect Columbus to have a good effort and kind of try to get back to their defensive game, I think that this is a good spot and a good price for us to back them.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on Columbus here as well. I think we're at a point now we're kind of at the bottom of the market on this Jackets team. Sens are playing well, but there's going to be some regression here. I think the same can be said of the Jackets, just the other way around, and that there's going to be some positive regression coming. Ullmark and Forsberg for the Sens have combined to save 11.5 goals above expected in their last 5 games. That is insane. 954 save percentage in that span, 967 at 5-on-5. Obviously, that is not going to continue. And then you look at the Jackets, where I talked about the fact that their shooting percentage was going to come down at one point. Well, it has come down in a big way, and now it needs to come up a little bit because they're a lot better. They're a lot more talented than their recent shooting percentage numbers would indicate. shutout back-to-back games in Ontario over the weekend. I mean, they definitely deserved a lot more from those games. They have been better than their recent results have shown. The goals are going to come again. Some positive regression coming there. Hopefully some negative regression coming for the Sens goaltending situation. Also, Omark's comments were really weird. I don't know if you heard those the other day too. I don't know what he's trying to stir up now. He basically just like called out the media for reporting like fake stuff. It's like nothing even recently happened. He just like felt the need to stir the pot out of nowhere. Things are going well in Ottawa. Vibes are good. Like, I don't understand why he felt the need to do that. It was very interesting comments that he made. I would go check that out for sure. But yeah, I think this is the point now where the Jackets are going to respond to the weekend. There's a lot of character in that room. There's some veteran guys that are, that are leading that group. They've been through a lot this year, obviously in the offseason as well with Gaudreau and everything like that. This is a group that's shown a ton of resilience. I do believe in the character that they have. I don't think they're just going to lay down and let the season fade into nothing. They do have one more little push here. I think that starts tonight as we are getting them at a discounted number because of their recent results, which have not necessarily indicated exactly how they've been playing. So I am with you tonight on the Jackets as well. Well, I don't know exactly how many bets that is so far, but I think we're maybe averaging more than one a game at this point so far. And we still have 4 more games to go. The next game is your other favorite team, maybe your denounced favorite team, the Vancouver Canucks in Dallas to take on the Stars. Canucks plus 162, Stars minus 196, a total of 5.5 at FanDuel, minus 105 to the over, which based on my eyes, assuming they are not letting me down, is the best price in market on the over 5.5, that minus 105, which if you are okay with it and you do not have any objection, I would like to go ahead and track that as a best bet for tonight.
On the over?
Yeah, on the over.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't think the total can be lined here. Canucks are not generating a ton, but they are far from lifeless on offense at the same time. That like Suter, DeBrusk, Besser line, I think they found a little something there. It's been really good, scoring at a pretty high rate. And they're an absolute faucet defensively. Like they're just bleeding chances, bleeding goals, next to no resistance on the back end right now. And this is pretty much just a nightmare matchup against a Stars team that can and does score in bunches. As we know, Stars team that is very motivated here to try and keep their division hopes alive going into Thursday's game against the Jets. This is very much a must win. I don't think they will have any issues scoring, potentially even clearing this number themselves if they really want to, honestly. And they also haven't shored things up defensively themselves. Like the games they don't give up a lot of goals, it is because they are getting elite goaltending. It is not because they're playing great defense. So I do think there will be a ton of chances at both ends here. Hopefully Vancouver can contribute a couple goals. I think they will. I honestly think this should be borderline at a 6, juiced under, if not heavily juiced over on the 5.5s. Yeah, how about yourself?
Yeah, I've got no objection to that. I do think that the Canucks are still playing. They are. We saw in that Anaheim game. That was a game where it's a afternoon game. Anaheim's coming to town. There's nothing to play for. That's the kind of game where this team would not show up for. But they did, and then the next night they did play a hard game against Vegas. Maybe a little bit unlucky, but Vegas is just a better team, and they were able to shut down the Canucks when they needed to. But the Canucks are playing hard, right? So they're going to keep coming, and we know that Dallas is going to be motivated as well. I thought that the price was a little inflated on Dallas, and I haven't been really impressed with the way Dallas has been playing. They have been getting the results, but I think that there's a lot to be concerned about there, and especially going into the playoffs if they can't fix some of the underlying numbers that I'm seeing with them. That's a Stars team that I'd be concerned about in the first round, especially obviously if they play Colorado. Yes. So I'd be concerned there for this game. You could make a case for the Canucks. I just needed a little bit more on them, and if we do get into the plus 180 range, that's where I would want to bet the Canucks. But
it was just there too recently, I think.
I know.
It just got bet down a little bit.
Yeah, so I do need a plus 180 on them. If we can't get there again, then I'll pass. If we do get there, then I will be on the Canucks tonight.
Okay. Fair enough. So we will hold off on the Canucks for now because I don't see any +8 is still available. I know there was even +190 this morning at some spots, and then it came down a little bit. Canucks have taken some money, which I would agree with as well. But at this point we will not track anything on the side. We will lock in that over, and we will move on to the next game. Where also before we do move on to the next game, I do agree that obviously everything is price dependent, but Stars losing in round one based on price, but the price I think we might get in that series, I think that could be a pretty attractive bet on the Avs series price for sure. But we will talk a lot more about that as we get into next week and we start diving into these series prices and playoff previews and all that sort of stuff. We will move on to the next game where the Isles are in Nashville taking on the Predators. Isles -126, Preds +105, a total of 5.5, -110 to the over, -110 to the under. Bit of an ugly game here. I do have a bet on it, but I will give you the floor first. Do you have anything in this one?
I do. This is sometimes there's like big slates where I have like 1 or 2 games. Sometimes it's just let's slate like tonight where I've got a bunch. I did bet Nashville here.
Okay.
I have dogged them all season, and we've made good money fading them as well, especially when they went through that little bit of a run where they kept taking money in the market. But I think all of that is done now. I think this is a team that they are still playing. They're not very good, but they're still playing, right? And the Islanders, I think that the only reason the Isles are priced like this is because they have a shot at the playoffs and motivation and like they'll be up for it and all that. But that's been priced in, right? And now we're looking at the Isles we're looking at numbers of -120s. I don't see 130, but I see up to I see up to like
-125. Yeah,
right. Like that's just too high. If both of these teams play up to their ceiling, the Isles should win this game most of the time, but not at a -125 clip here. So I do like Nashville at home. I think that they will show up for this game. They have been playing, and I think that anything at plus money here, I'm on. I'm on the Preds.
Okay. So we will go ahead and lock in the Preds there. I like it under in this game again. The Preds just cannot score goals. They're not generating a lot, and when they do, they cannot score. It is hard to see that changing very much against Sorokin. I just don't see how they're able to find the back of the net enough here. And I don't think that the Isles are going to be the team to push this over themselves. It's another one of these totals where I think it's going to be kind of a bit of a dead game here, and just don't really love what either team is able to contribute offensively. I do agree with the Preds side for sure at plus money. I've watched this team a few times, and it's just like even when they play well, they cannot find a way to put the puck in the net. It's very, very frustrating team to back right now. And that all just kind of leads me to this under. There is plus money on the 5.5 right now available, depending on where you are and what you have access to. But I do like the plus money. I do like it up to like -105-ish kind of. That's where I am for this game here, is on the under. But we will lock in the Preds and the under for this one. We're tracking for like 12 bets at this point here. This is going to be a massive slate. We're going to come here and recap tomorrow. It's going to be like 10-2-0. I can't wait. I'm very excited for that. Rob's gonna have FOMO for missing out on the Tuesday show. We will move on to the Kraken and Utah. Kraken +190, Utah -230. Total of 6.5, +102 to the over, -124 to the under. Are we firing again here?
No.
Yeah.
This is
we got to draw the line somewhere.
I know. Yeah. It's just so when you first look at the number, I know Seattle, they just played their it's clearly inflated, right? But I mean, like we're talking about Utah in the -220s here, right? So I will reluctantly pass this game, even though I do have an edge on Seattle. It's just that at this point in the season, I just don't want to. You know, I just don't want to bet this game. So I will pass.
Yeah, I think we have more than enough action tonight. We don't need to force it here on a Kraken Utah hockey club, in mid-April when neither team has anything to play for. I'm going to sit this one out as well. I think everything is kind of fine where it is. I just have no interest in getting involved. We don't need to talk any more about it than that. We will move on to the final game of the night. We have the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Knights plus 108 on FanDuel. Avs minus 130, a total of 5.5, minus 124 to the over, plus 102 to the under on this game. Obviously not a ton to play for here for the Avs. Knights still somewhat chasing that clinching the division sort of number they need to get to. Kings lost in regulation last night helps them big time, though. That was unexpected. Do you have something for us in this game?
I did play the under here. I like the under to minus 120. And very interesting game because I'm very high on both of these teams going into the playoffs. Matchup dependent, of course. And I'm sure we'll talk about that. But both of these teams I like quite a bit. And it's just unfortunate that Colorado doesn't have much to play for because I think in any other circumstance this would be a really big litmus test for both of these teams. So I think the number on the Avs is inflated, but it's not to the point where I do want to bet on the Vegas side. I'm more interested in observing how these teams play each other and how they match up against each other, because I think that it's possible that they'll be playing each other in a few weeks. So so I will pass on the side. On the total, I think both of these teams, they do know what they need to do in terms of playing defensive hockey. That is where both of their game needs to they need to rely on the defensive play, and I think both of these teams understand that, and that's where we're going to see this game being played. I think that 6 we can still get up to a minus 120, and that's
widely available.
Yeah, and that's and that's where I have this game lined.
Yeah, I bet the under myself as well. I really do like this under for a lot of the reasons you said. Also, Vegas getting pretty elite goaltending right now, playing pretty suffocating defense. We know how Colorado approaches the games in these steps up, and how they do look to, kind of lock things down defensively. This will be a good litmus test for them heading into the playoffs. I also bet Vegas, though. I did. I pulled the trigger on the Knights. I think there's a little bit of hidden value here because this is a Knights team that's also always up for these steps in class. Can always kind of count on them to bring in these spots. They definitely still have a little bit to play for. They're going to want to have that Pacific Division locked up with a few games to spare. So they do have the luxury of kind of resting guys. They know the importance of doing that. They don't want to be fighting for, that first spot into the final game of the season. That is the last thing they want. There's definitely some more incentive for them here. And we've talked about how the Avs are just sort of locked into that third spot in the Central. Where is the incentive for them to get into a dogfight with the Knights? They're not going to sort of leave it all out there. I do think that opens up a little bit of hidden value. You look at their underlying numbers lately, they haven't been the prettiest. I think that is down to the fact that they don't have this incentive to go out there every night and kind of turn it on. Whereas the Knights, their numbers have been fantastic. Their defensive play has been fantastic. Goaltending has been fantastic. I just think this is a little bit too big given the situation. You talked about, Isles' number being inflated, Habs' number being inflated, all that sort of stuff, given the situations these teams are in. I think a team like Colorado having nothing to play for, that's the type of thing where you don't see markets kind of taking into effect. And that's one thing where down the stretch you kind of do get a little bit extra value. So yeah, I bet the under, I bet the Knights. We have bet everything tonight. We have not held back. This is a 10-game slate that we like quite a bit. So I will recap the best bets because even if you have been watching, there have been a lot of them here. So we will recap those, get into a no-goal parlay, and build an anytime goal parlay. We've had a ton of suggestions I've seen come through so far. So we should have no issues putting together an anytime goal parlay. There's a few of them that I really like here as well. So we will do that. Do the no-goal parlay. But first, let me recap the best bets. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them tonight. So money, 12 bets in 10 games. I did not have my eye on the screen. The Habs took a lot of money.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, interesting. It is what it is. Bruins, Devils under 5.5, minus 120. Leafs, Panthers under 5.5, minus 110. Panthers minus 115. Jackets plus 105. Wings plus 108. Canes, Sabres under 6.5 plus minus 114. Sorry, half a unit on the Hawks plus 185. That is the only half unit bet of the night. Everything else is a full unit. Isles, Preds under 5.5 minus 110. Preds plus 105. Canucks, Stars over 5.5 minus 105. Knights plus 115. Knights, Avs under 6 minus 115. 12 bets for tonight. So money. What is how many do we win tonight? I'm gonna set the over under at 7.5 minus 110 to either side.
If I were a betting man, I would bet that over.
I would slam it. That's a max. That's our 13th best bet of the night. It's over 7.5. Best bet wins tonight. All right, let's do the no goal parlay here before we get to the comments and build the anytime goal parlay. Tonight's no goal parlay, which I will pull up here in a second, is Dylan Cousins of the Ottawa Senators, Uri Slafkovsky of the Montreal Canadiens, and Jason Zucker of the Buffalo Sabres. That is minus 108. That was minus 111 when I bet it. So there you go. Market moving against us here. Slafkovsky, Cousins, and Zucker is tonight's no-goal parlay. Let's get that one home. All right, we got to build an anytime goal parlay. I'm going to really need your help here because we have a lot of suggestions for this one. I will start at the top. The first one to come through today was Dylan Larkin.
Like that a lot.
Okay, I do too, kind of. Let's throw Larkin in there. Plus 195. We will add Dylan Larkin as our first one for tonight. Hal in agreement as well. I like that, Brian. Hal, our resident Wings fan. We get the seal of approval there, so that's good. Dorofeev or Morgan Geekie. I don't like Geekie. Geekie's playing well, but he's scoring on a large percentage of his shots right now. I don't want to throw Geekie in there. What about Dorofeev?
Let's keep Dorofeev as an option right now.
Okay, let's hold off for now.
Yeah.
Yep, no problem. Frank Nazar.
I'm okay with it. What's
worst price in market at FanDuel? 320. There's pretty much 350 or better across the board elsewhere. Plus 420 is available too. I say let's hold off on that for now too. We have a lot of suggestions, so we can be a little bit pickier here today. Bunting from John Smith.
I like that.
Yeah. Plus 350, best in market as well. Okay, let's do Michael Bunting. He's getting more and more times, power play time too. We will throw Michael Bunting in there. So that's Bunting and Larkin so far. So we have two. Crosby.
What's the price?
Plus 130. There's plus 160 available. Yeah, no. We're gonna we'll sit that one out. We'll get to that in a sec. John says Matthew Nyes. There's one after this that I really like. Nyes plus 320, close to best of market. I'm not opposed to it. I say let's hold off for now though.
Yeah.
On this one, we'll hold off on Nyes. I really like this Fantilli one from Ron.
Yeah, let's do that.
There, I really like the Fantilli suggestion. Okay, let's throw Fantilli in there as our third one. Again, seal of approval here from Hal. I was going to say Fantilli too, so that's good. The obligatory Anders Lee anytime. We have Bunting, so we will leave the Anders Lee out. One day he will score for us. It'll probably be tonight because we haven't bet him. Then we have the Preds on the under, so obviously Anders Lee is scoring tonight. DeBrusk. We have an over there. I talked about how that line has been playing. They've been playing really well. There are better numbers out there, but not by a ton. What do you think?
I like it, but that's going to bring us up to 4, right?
That's going to bring us up to 4. Yeah, so you want to hold off on that?
Yeah, are there more coming?
That's it. That's all that is all the suggestions for us in the chat.
Oh, okay, then let's go with DeBrusk then.
Okay, let's go with DeBrusk then. All right. So DeBrusk will be our fourth one for tonight. I do like that. I've been playing a lot of DeBrusk, Sutter, and Besser combo SGPs lately that have been even when they score one or two goals, that line is heavily involved every time.
And of course, in typical Canucks fashion, Suter's not signed either. They felt that it wasn't important to sign him to an extension. and now he's going to get paid in the offseason. So it was another great job there by the Canucks.
He wasn't doing much earlier in the season, though, right? He's like just really come on strong over the last little while.
It doesn't matter, right? Like moving forward, like after you traded JT Miller, right? Like you you knew you were going to keep Pettersson, so like he's your number one center. Where are the rest of your centers at this point?
Yeah,
right.
Like you don't have any.
Like who's going to play center next year? Right, and like all of a sudden we have a team that was so deep down the middle last year, right? And now we have basically, with the way Pettersson has played this year, we have half a center. So that's great management there.
Yeah, 43 points this year for Sutter. He has 16 of them since the start of March. That is a lot of points since the start of March. We're talking basically 16 points in just a little over a month. So he's been on fire. Okay, that is our anytime goal parlay for tonight. Dylan Larkin, Michael Bunting, Adam Fantilli, and Jake DeBrusk. That is 200 to 1. I would suggest round robining these as well. I do really like this anytime goal parlay. I'm going to be round robining this myself with 2s, 3s, and 4s. That is going to be the full gambit for me here. I like that one quite a bit. Our no goal parlay again is Uri Slafkovsky, Dylan Cousins, and Jason Zucker. Our best bets one more time, because there are a lot of them, so bear with me here. The Bruins and Devils under 5.5 minus 120. The Leafs and the Panthers under 5.5 minus 110. The Panthers minus 115. The Jackets plus 105. Detroit plus 108. Hurricanes, Sabres under 6.5 minus 114. Blackhawks plus 185. Islanders, Preds under 5.5 minus 110. Preds plus 105. Canucks, Stars over 5.5 minus 105. Knights plus 115. Knights, Avs under 6 minus 115. Whew. I track all this stuff in a flow chart after for FanDuel. I kind of recap all our shows for them and stuff, and typing out all these best bets is going to take me 10 minutes after the show. I'm just making more work for myself here. All right. Well, this was good. We 10 game slate, 12 bets, 2 parlays, and we did it in under 50 minutes, which normally these take like an hour, if not more. So I think a pretty efficient show here today, I would say.
Love it.
That'll do it for us. Hopefully we're back here tomorrow. Habs jersey on, Habs hat on, the whole everything, as they hopefully can get a win for us tonight, or at least a point, so we can get the best bet, and then we'll be right there planning out our late April plans here, as we're gonna take on the Caps. I don't know, man. I'm feeling something special happening right now in Montreal. This is like the Yaroslav Halak here, Let's get a little run going. I'll say that as we're going to be out in 5. All right, that'll do it for us. We will be back tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. It'll be myself, So Money, and Rob Pizzola tomorrow, the 3-man panel, as we get into a decent 5-game slate on a Wednesday, including a huge Leafs Lightning game. So we will be back tomorrow to break that all down. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff before you leave. It really does help us. Even if you stick around till the show is done, refresh the page, leave a comment. All that stuff helps us in the YouTube algorithm. Anything you can do, we really would appreciate it. Yeah, it takes 2 seconds. Show finishes, let the outro happen. Keep the tab open. Once the tab, once the intro is done, the page will refresh automatically. The video is kind of just there, and then you can just leave a comment. That's it.
There's no reason not to.
Yeah, it takes 2 minutes. We really would appreciate it. That's it. I won't beg for any more help. I'll leave it at that. We will be back 10:30 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Until then, enjoy the games tonight, and good luck on your bets.